Today, we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit different than what we usually do, and that is this limited edition triple colored LP set of Candlemass's landmark Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus. Now, this is celebrating their 35th anniversary of this album, and it comes packed with a bunch of extras. I have been a huge fan of this band pretty much ever since the beginning. I mean, probably around the Nightfall, Ancient Dreams area, probably. So somewhere about 87, 88. So I was a little late to the party. I got in, I forgot, like I went to like a record store or whatever, and like I came across one of their albums. I thought the cover was super cool, and I decided to check it out. I didn't know anything about doom metal at the time. It was just kind of starting and pioneered by Candlemass. They basically took up where Black Sabbath had left off, and they did just a phenomenal job with the stuff that they did. Now, this was their first album. They had previous releases before here. They had the Witchcraft demo, which is actually on here and remastered, and also Epicus is remastered on here. And then they have the Uplands Vaseby rehearsal from '85 on here as well. So they collected all the material that they had at the time and put it out for this release. Of course, you know, he had his Nemesis project before this, you know, where he sung on that, and then he also sung on, you know, the Witchcraft stuff. But anyway, you know, he was just kind of shorthanded on members. He didn't want to sing, but he was kind of forced into because he didn't have a proper vocalist at the time. But they did find one for this Epicus release. Over here, this is the Knucklebones Epicus statue, which, if you're a fan, if you're watching this, you're obviously a Candlemass fan, and I would highly recommend getting that. In fact, I am such a fan that here this is back in '94, and they have like multiple stickers underneath there too. I used to, in the early '90s, used to roll around with this Candlemass license plate. So huge, longtime fan. I'm really looking forward to opening this up and seeing what all is in here. So let's dive in. All right, so first let's look at the case. Now we have a different print of the Candlemass Epicus album. This is kind of like more of a pinkish font or color of the fonts on here. And then on the back, what the back looks like. And of course, it has what's on the other two records in this pack, and it's a sturdy cover for it. Then inside, find a handwritten, printed note from Leaf. I don't know how limited this release is, but it would have been nice if it was like just something at least hand signed by him, and not just a printed. It is on a heavy cardstock, but still. And then we have their poster for the release. That. Which is a good size poster. Now we have the first LP, which is the Epicus. And so this is just like it was for the initial release. Subsequent releases, they kind of changed things up a little bit for reissues and things like that, but this is the way it came back in the day. And you know, it has red, and then this is more of a silver. Let's take a look at the back here. And then inside, take a look at this real quick. We have this super cool thing, which is, this is their little note liner sleeve in here. It's a little 8-page booklet, and it talks about how they made the album, everything that went and was involved with it. And then some rare kind of behind the scenes studio pictures. But I was kind of impressed by reading through this. I learned a lot about the release and about the dynamics of the band at the time. I honestly didn't know that the drummer played such a heavy role in the band. Knew that Matt had kind of like joined in a little bit later, but the drummer, like he sketched out the initial idea for the skull and cross, and he actually had his dad, who was an artist, draw up the logo that we now so infamously know. And yeah, like I thought it was, I really recommend, obviously I recommend getting this, but like you learn a whole lot from this. It's pretty interesting read for sure. And here we go with, this has all of the songs and lyrics for it. But yeah, like so, I mean, obviously at the time they were still growing and developing. So obviously you have Leaf, and then you know, Matt's kind of joined in to do guitar work, rhythm guitar work on there, and he became a permanent member of the band. And then Matt's Ekstrom, I'm gonna butcher that. But so he actually left the band because the band wanted to tour and play live shows, and he was thinking it was going to be more of like a studio project, and so they kind of parted ways on that. But it was really interesting to see how much of a hand he had in Candlemass, and it wasn't all of Leaf stuff. Here is the second LP in the pack, and this is the Witchcraft demo, which I love the artwork here. I don't think anything on here is previously unreleased. Like you could find this stuff out. Like I had already long time ago jammed these demos. I'm gonna take a look inside here. Now for this one, it is just a black sleeve, and then it's a white heavyweight vinyl. In fact, I didn't show you guys the color vinyl, the other one, but I think the Candlemass record is just, I'll go back here a second. I'm sorry for all the nonsense. I don't typically review records, but so here is the color of the Candlemass Epicus. And then here is the Uplands Vaseby demos. And this is actually the way that they printed the skull and cross on the first release. It was a mistake, but they negatived the skull and cross, so it looked like this. And then they ended up fixing that on, you know, later pressings. But it's just really cool to see like all the behind the scenes stuff. A lot of this stuff, I feel like I think I've heard this stuff before, and I don't remember what release it was on, but I feel like this is kind of familiar to me too. So I don't know if you're really gaining a whole lot here, except like everything is in one nice bundle, and obviously it's an LP format. This is another, just a black sleeve for this one, and then a black record for the bass B. And it is nice to have everything in a package deal, and I really like the notes in the 8-page book. Again, this is just well worth it, and it's basically written by the drummer Metz. Yes, Metz. I'm butchering their names, but yeah, like this is worth its weight in gold if you really are into Candlemass like I am. Alright guys, so that's about all there is to go over on this release. I absolutely love it. Hopefully this kind of gives you an idea if you're on the fence on buying this, on what all you get. I have jammed the Witchcraft and the Epicus LPs, and there is a difference as far as mastering. It does sound better, but it's not life-changing. But it's just a fantastic release, and as a collector, as a lover of Candlemass, I don't see how you could not jump on this. Again, the statue, the Epicus statue, is not included on this. I'm just putting it as part of the video because I think it looks cool with the set. I'm probably going to display the album with that statue, and probably, again, my little Candlemass license plate. I was probably the only person in Virginia at the time that dedicated to doom metal, but you know, it's something that I connected with heavily. I love all his stuff, and you know, I just, it's they after 30 years of listening to them, they remain one of my top 5 favorite bands of all time, and you know, I just think that they're absolutely phenomenal. I'm glad to see that the Epicus vocalist is back, and you know, doing that kind of stuff for them. I know that they had some problems. You know, they really loved what he did for this, you know, first release in the studio, but he, you know, they tried to drag him out on tour and stuff, and he did not want to go and tour and do any of that stuff. He just wanted to kind of come in and sing on this. It wasn't really his style per se, and then he kind of disappeared off the radar. And then popped back up for a reunion. I think it was like in 2008 or something like that, somewhere around there, 2008 or 2011. And then now he's back singing with the band. And I think that's super awesome. They sound great. They seem to be firing on all cylinders. And that's saying a lot for me as a fan, because you know, to me, their best work was with Messiah. I love those releases. Those, you know, first 3 albums with him are pretty much untouchable in my viewpoint. But and then the stuff that they've done in the 90s and the 2000s, like, you know, it's kind of hit or miss for me. You know, Lars doesn't play the solos that, you know, I feel like he used to play, and just the songwriting isn't there for me. You know, I may like a song or 2 off a record, but you know, it's not like I like the whole thing. Not like, you know, was for Nightfall, Ancient Dreams, or Tales of Creation, or any of that stuff, or obviously Epicus. You know, those are albums that it doesn't have like a weak spot. There's not like a song that you skip, for me anyway. But anyway, I know I'm like babbling on this, but I really like what they're doing. I really love this release through Peaceville, and I definitely recommend picking it up. I wish that there was more bands doing this kind of stuff. I don't like what doom metal has turned into. It's like this doom stoner thing now, and I just can't get into it. You know, I really like, you know, this more traditional doom metal. Traditional for me because, you know, I feel like Candlemass really was, you know, the pioneers of doom metal, and it would be hard to argue with me against that. You know, but there were great bands at the time, like Solitude Eternus and things like that, which actually from my hometown, and then here in Texas, from Arlington, and you know, and even now there's some bands like I like Sorcerer a lot. 11th Hour is good. There's you know, even like Swallow the Sun and things like that. And While Heaven Wept. That's the kind of doom metal stuff that I like. The stoner stuff, you know, with the fuzz guitar and all this stuff, I don't know. I know a lot of you guys probably gonna get mad at me about it, but like, it's just, not doom to me. It's more stoner, and I want more doom metal. Anyway, I'm babbling on, so I'm just going to end this. I think this is an awesome release. Definitely pick it up. Thank you so much to Candlemass for putting all this together in one giant release, and I hope the band keeps on putting out more material, because they're absolutely awesome, and I hate to see Leaf stop writing ever. So anyway, as always, feel free to leave me questions or comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. Feel free to like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications for new videos. And until next time, I will see you guys later.